Greetings, What the hell is that? That's new. Anyway, I have a story here which I should be rather solid on, but for some reason I'm a little conflicted about it. It has to do with the content of the article, what is stated at the outset, and what they actually follow through with, and well, really, the only way I can show you is to jump into it. It has to do with gaming and, of course, toxic masculinity and all the trolls and everything in gaming. So why don't we switch on over and get stuck into it, huh? All right, then. Alright everyone, so here we are on the Polygon article here, Gaming's Toxic Men Explained. So this one as well, it has me a little conflicted. Now, as a progressive, I, of course, have no problem with so-called hypocrisy coming from, our side, as it were. It's only really the right-wing bigots that try and pin us down on that stuff. We're not really too fussed with it because we, of course, all know that we're right. And that's the only thing that really matters, isn't it? What we say to each other. So let's get into the article here. Gaming's Toxic Men Explained. And this is normally an article that I'd be right behind, except for some of the things that are in the article just turning me a little bit. Now, give me a bit of a break here. It's been a little while since I've had my soy, so I might not be in the right mindset for this. But let's start to tackle this like these experts, shall we? So these experts are tackling the phenomenon of angry men, trolls, racists, misogynists who hover around the video game industry. Already, this is giving me some faith, that the article is heading in the right direction and is going and attacking, sorry, not attacking, we are tackling the right people. All right. So look, the story here, now this is the beginnings of my, I guess, my problem and why I'm confessing this. Now, this story is not another attempt to chronicle the activities of racist and misogynist men who harass women and people of colour on social media and in multiplayer games. So let's surmise that to bigots. This story is not another attempt to chronicle the activities of bigots. Yet, as we go into the article, we seem to have various statements from various brave women throughout the industry, but they all seem to be talking about the chronicles and activities of bigots. So it's kind of like we're chronicling it by proxy, is what it seems to be. They're not outright stating, what the exact hate is, but we're just kind of talking around it. And that's, to me, that's not the best way to kind of tackle an issue. You really need to get it right on, get out on the streets, get in some gear and really punch a Nazi, you know what I mean? So let's maybe have a look at some of these statements. Maybe they can kind of help clear me up. As usual, I never really read any of these articles. As I've said many times before, I don't actually need to see much proof to do any condemning, and I don't really need to see any evidence before I side with another fellow progressive. But it's just, this one really kind of, like I said, it kind of ticked me a little bit. It kind of knocked me off of my horse, so to speak. So let's have a bit of a look. Okay, so from Kate Miltner. Okay, she's a feminist media scholar, and as such, she doesn't believe in gender essentialism. Wow. Okay, that is actually getting me back on the horse there, Kate. So just to break it down for any bigots that may be sort of spying and listening on this video, she's a feminist media scholar, so she's a woman who watches TV, and as such, doesn't believe in gender essentialism. So she's a woman who doesn't believe in gender. Okay, so anyway, moving on from that one, I think that makes it pretty clear. While sex is biological, gender is a social construct. Yes, thank you, Kate. Those are the golden words. Sex is biological, gender is a social construct. I'm so glad that we're getting so many nice buzzwords, this early on in the article. I'm actually feeling quite pumped now. We are trained from childhood to behave in certain gendered ways. Oh, excellent. Let's skim over this next part. There's a lot of reading to do here. Often promote a belief among certain people within the worlds of gaming and tech that tech is naturally, even biologically, the domain of men. Oh, of course. I mean, I know that when I first touched a computer, my little ding-a-ling got quite hard, so I knew that it was for me. Now, it may have had something to do with the images on the screen, but let's not get into that, shall we? All right, with the first computers, hardware design was considered to be a big challenge, and therefore considered blah, 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 blah. I think we can kind kind of surmise the rest of the article there without really getting into it. All we need to know is what's in this first part through here, and that technology is, of course, made for men. Next one, Anita Sarkeesian. Now, I don't think I need to introduce her to any of my clansmen, but just in case, there's some, again, more bigots who don't seem to know who Anita is, she is basically the bravest woman in gaming, and a complete hero. All right. So the games industry has catered to men and boys for so long, but it wasn't always that way. You see, I remember back in the first, we playing Pong as a child, playing Pong. Now, it wasn't always that way. Basically, one side of Pong was male, the other side of Pong was female. It's not a very well-known fact, but look it up, and it's probably true. It's probably true. Alright, in the early days of arcades, whole families could go together. Women were involved in the development of early games, but that shifted in the 90s with the super sexist advertising that took place both in print and commercials. And of course, we all know that advertising, is one of the roots of all evil. And so, basically, according to this, advertising pretty much single-handedly got rid of all women in gaming. I guess all of the women involved in gaming must have seen those advertisements and kind of chose to bow out, and simultaneously those advertisements destroyed any little girls' sort of dreams to want to go up and make games or participate in games media. But certainly not journalism. Seems to be quite a few female journalists, so yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. All right. Yes, again, this ad here, we'll read this one ad from Anita, just to give her some more credit here. She remembers a commercial for PlayStation 1. There's a man playing, and he locks his girlfriend in the closet. He's sitting on a couch with Lara Croft. I mean, what? I wonder, who are you targeting with that kind of shit? Yeah, that is really strange. I mean, locking your girlfriend in the closet, and then making out with a waifu, that was a time before waifus as well, so I mean that could be considered quite brave under 2018 standards. But again, we're getting into a certain bit of a point here where we're just kind of talking about this toxic masculinity in gaming, kind of dancing around it all. Although we're not chronicling the activities of bigots, we just seem to kind of be talking around it all with a lot of these buzzwords and things like that. So I don't know, it's a bit confusing to me. Why don't we just tackle it head on and just start calling them out on the bigots that they are? That's what we used to do. Back in the days of Gamergate, that's what we were doing. We were calling these bigots, these males in gaming, what they truly were. Hateful incels. Incel's a new word, actually. That wasn't around back in 2014 or whenever the hell Gamergate exactly spawned. But yeah, I mean, incels. That's what they are. Why don't we just come out and attack them and call them that? Punch Nazis, punch incels, punch gamers. I think we need to broaden our prospects here and stop kind of speaking around all of this hate. Just by gathering. How many do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I think that's a different article. Maybe not. Good. This page is huge. Huge. Okay, so at least in that one article, 7 different women typing up paragraphs talking about toxic masculinity in gaming. I mean, that's quite a bit. Why don't we just shorten it to one article, one person, and that way we can just go out on the streets and punch gamers, Nazis, and incels like we're supposed to, huh? Why don't we just get back to that? You know what? This confession has made me feel quite a bit better, actually. I started out feeling a little unsure, but after reading some of these things and coming to some of my own progressive conclusions, I think I'm at a nice state. So let's flip back over and kind of close this one out. All right, everyone, so as we switch back over here, I've had something of a revelation, if you will. Now, whilst I was calling there for us to go out in the streets and not commit violence, we don't believe in violence here on the left, but, engage, let's call it that, engage with certain incels and whatnot, I thought of something. That article had women in it, and I mean, it could have been written by a man, a trans man, a woman, who knows with genders nowadays, but as a person with a certain skin color, who am I to comment? And as someone who was born with the sex of a male, again, gender is a social construct, it does not exist, as was stated in that article, who am I to comment, really? I have no say in all this, so I will just cuck myself out of the opinion entirely, huh? How about that? I'll just cuck myself out, excuse myself, and I'll let my betters sort it out, Alright, everyone, let me know in the comments what you think, and remember, if you're white and male, cuck yourself right out of this video. Alright, I'll see you next time. Colonel Comics, away!